1 second. Yeah, okay. So the agenda for today, I'll give you a quick welcome, other than the one I already said. We'll quickly look at what KYBERX does, who we are, and then we jump straight into the 3 cyber habits that should help your teams be cyber smart and protect your business better going forward. And they can already put that in action today. They are very simple, easy habits to use. And then we will look at some modern awareness training platforms, and we'll spell out the differentiators of them, how they help better than the traditional platforms, and we'll close with a live Q&A. And of course, the bonuses. So welcome again to the KYBERX User Awareness webinar. My name is Tamás Balog. I am the founder and CEO of KYBERX, also a cybersecurity expert with over 15 years of experience. And at KYBERX, we help Baltic businesses build cyber smart teams and automate compliance with proven platforms and practical support. So what that means is we have 3 service tiers essentially. So tier number 1 is for user awareness. We can either deliver you a user awareness platform, so you sort of just using it and managing it yourself perhaps, or we can bring a fully managed or partially managed user awareness program. And for those that already have a program in place, and that would include also some training platform or solution, we are fond believers of replacing the tech isn't always the answer, and shouldn't be the first sort of knee-jerk reaction. So if you already have something in place, or for any of our customers, we offer something called Pulse Check, which helps you determine if the training is actually landing and where are the gaps or the pain points. And then you also get, as part of this, a roadmap that you can execute yourself. No need to involve us. So it's sort of a second set of eyes looking at your program without you having to change platforms. And we will not recommend changing a platform unless it's really, really not fitting your organization. If you do need help with executing that gap remediation, then we offer something 2 to 3 months normally, but it's up to the customer's need and choice. A course correct, where we stay with you and help you put the fixes in place and respond to anything unexpected that comes up as we go. And then the final part of this sort of bonus offerings are the culture sync, where you have your documentation, so your policy, standards, guidelines, things like that. You also have training, and then you also have your way of working within the organization, and something is just not sticking or not working between the ways of working and the policies. So we come in, look at your policies. The goal is not to remove very valuable sort of directions from the documentation, but to help present it or reframe it for your teams in a way that it makes sense to them, so they can follow it. And that's what we mean by syncing the culture and syncing your documentation. We also do cyber escape room exercises. Those are only in English, so everything up until now was available in Latvian, but the escape room for the time being is only in English. And then we can also bring in English or Latvian, Lithuanian, Estonian. We can bring a monthly cyber awareness pack, so posters, infographics that you can use and sort of put up in the common areas within your organization. So that's the awareness piece. We also provide compliance automation services that helps you certify if you are at that stage, or recertify if you already achieved, for example, ISO 27001 or NIS2 or NKDL or anything like that. And it doesn't only help you with getting to that certification, but also it makes the whole auditing process easier because it comes with preset dashboards, reports, and overall access mechanisms and processes and workflows that you can use to enable your auditors to come in, take a look at what's going on in your organization, in your ISMS, in your governance, and very quickly get a quick picture, request a few evidences, and hopefully all is good, yeah? So that's what the compliance tier is for. And in the advantage, we combine the two, and we add on top cybersecurity strategy. We form one and then manage and execute one. And if you do need, we can help you with outsourced cybersecurity management as well. These are our contacts. You can take a screenshot, write down, or well, you already have some of our contacts, so we will move on. Let's jump into the cyber habits. That's what you are all here for. So habit number 1. And I will continue going this fast because we didn't want to make this webinar longer, so you can get back to your days and activities. So habit number 1, post, check, verify. If you are already looking at it or have been working on user awareness for a while, it wouldn't come as a surprise. In one shape or form, you encountered this. So this is certainly where the user should start. So it gives them a moment of pause. I won't read everything out also, just to quickly mention. So please feel free to take screenshots, no problem at all. So I continue. So it gives them a moment of pause. If they receive an email or even it can be a voice call, so no problem. We should always take a step back, especially if there is some form of urgency or emotion coming from the other side. We should also look at various checks we can perform to determine is the sender or the originator of this communication is who they say they are. So we will go into the check part in an upcoming slide in quite a lot of detail. But simple things like the display name matching the email address or just the domain in the email address. Was I expecting the message at all or this call? Okay, sometimes things are unexpected, but you will be surprised how many times this could save a lot of trouble. And then to verify. Now, verification must happen in a different channel than the original contact was received in. So if it was a phone call, perhaps a DM, not a text back to the same number, because chances are, if it is a malicious actor, they would also have access to the chats. So finding another way. If someone is pretending to be your bank, go via ideally saved bookmarks that you know and trust to your online banking or even government portals. So that's very, very helpful always. And here we have a bonus technique, and we start going down the road of sort of wacky titles or things just a little bit out there. That's on purpose. When you're doing user awareness training for people, if it's technical or even for legal compliance people, they will understand, well, okay, these are the bad things that can happen. This is why it's bad for the organization, and this is what we need to do to prevent them from happening. So that's pretty easy, but it doesn't work like that for everyone. And you always need to try to find a way to meet the users where they are, not where you expect them to be. And I'm not saying that giving sort of slightly out there names to habits is one solution that works in every organization, but everyone knows how to laugh, at least a little bit. So most likely, if you, even in a more serious environment, if you just do it a few times, it will still be very well received. So direct to nowhere, back to that point. Sometimes, even if you do the pause, the checks, the verify, you have this very last split second gut feeling that, hey, maybe I shouldn't have clicked this, but you already started clicking. Technical people know this, but non-technical people often don't or not aware. If you haven't released that click, you can just drag your cursor somewhere or your finger on a mobile somewhere that's neutral, and then the click will not execute. So that's pretty handy in many cases. So again, on laptop, desktop, on computer, in a neutral place where the link no longer exists is fine. On the mobile, almost all the cases, you just have to drag it all the way to the edge of the screen. Yeah, like that. And yes, so with this habit and these sort of checks, we trying to build a shared reflex across your entire workforce and just give them a chance to feel if something is off. Flashcard, you can take a screenshot if you want to. It's very handy if people print it out in very small shape and form, attach it to their desk or put it in their pockets, in their wallets. It acts as a frequent reminder. We'll give you a flashcard version of all of them. Habit number 2. Again, yeah, being a bit out there. This was inspired by a children's song, head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and I promise I won't sing. I am self-aware enough to know that you don't want to hear that. It's available in Latvian as well, this song. So if you have kids in your family or circles, you could have heard this many times. And again, we're just trying to give the users a way to first maybe be shocked, like, what is this? This is not serious cyber awareness training, and then sort of have a laugh, have a chat, and then it sticks easier. That's the idea. And then they can also try to sing along mentally. You know, the sender, subject, link and tone. Link and tone would be sort of the rhythm and the lyrics. And here we have the breakdown of what to check. So the sender, of course, or the source, so it could be a text message. Domain names matching. Was I expecting this? Do I know and trust the person? Anything misspelled, wrong? But they are not always misspelled, especially lately with AI and everything. They are pretty spot on. So the next thing you can check is subject. This is the stage I would say you can ask that question I mentioned earlier about, was I expecting this? Again, it's a very important question to ask at some stage. And then, yeah, the same for the attachments, looking for things that are just out of place. And moving on to the link, you check again the domain. Does it look legit? Sometimes you cannot tell, so you know you have to practice this part. I give you that, but checking it is still important. And then the tone. So I cannot put it in more technical terms, but we want the users to develop this muscle of looking for an off feeling. And if this is done, this four-step checklist is done frequently and consistently enough, especially across teams or families, eventually it really starts giving the user a much more confident feeling about, can I deal with a potential phishing attack or attempt or not? And that's what we're trying to do, to make them, not giving them false confidence, but to give them confidence through learning and practicing and posing and thinking. So responding from a place of careful consideration rather than emotions is the point. The flashcard, if you're taking screenshots. 3, 2, 1, moving on. Habit number 3, don't just delete, but report too. And we mean everywhere. So what this means is, of course, the workplace. Most organizations would have this already figured out. One way or another, even if it's not known by every single person in the organization, also that's very important. But if it is not, more or less the processes are there. What is not happening still frequently enough and consistently enough across the whole society is doing it in your personal life. So on social media, in your personal inboxes, seeing even something on the street. These QR codes were going around, and it's still happening. So scanning a QR code, noticing that, okay, that's trying to take me to a page that's either a shortened link or I don't recognize. I'm not going to click on that. Maybe sometimes some of these should be reported. And in Latvia, of course, CERTA-V is there to, they are very keen on learning about anything suspicious that the community sees, so they can work with their various partners to determine if there is a threat and then deal with the threat as if possible. But also in the family, it's important. And yes, we don't mean to set up an abuse report inbox in your family, but more like starting conversations, making it part of the maybe at the dinner table, or if you don't want to mess with the dinner rituals, then before TV or before a board game, or when the family is reading together, have these conversations. Visiting elderly relatives, have the conversations. If not daily, make it regular by doing it weekly, monthly at least. Start small, and make it easy for everyone to contribute. For that, you can set up a family group chat, and people can then just send screenshots of something suspicious they see in there. So that's very handy. And this builds a community defense, not just individual one. And why this is important, the last point on this, if you train user awareness at the workplace, what happens with the best training? Often the users log off at the end of the day, go home, but they leave the user awareness knowledge they gained behind, because it's so attached to my work computer, to my workplace, to my work servers, domains, applications, things like that. If you flip that and you start training your users on how they can keep their homes, their families, their personal lives, bank accounts, social media, photos safe, their parents, then they will A, listen much faster and much better, and B, they develop these muscles at home, and there is no way that they leave those at home. That's the upside of ensuring that these conversations start already in the family. And if you do user awareness within your organization, I strongly recommend you look at how to relate it to home life. And here is the flashcard. 3, 2, 1. Moving on. So how the modern awareness training platforms change behavior. So first of all, why you should care. We won't read this. It's in Latvian. You can take a screenshot or just find the regulation by its number. There is the link as well. I know you cannot read it, but I can send it to you later. We'll send the follow-up email. The highlights are: there should be an initial training at the hiring. There should be day-to-day, well, not necessarily day-to-day, but there should be regular cybersecurity briefings, trainings, and emergency as well. And then the training should be updated regularly, at least once a year, reviewed and updated if needed. So those are the highlights, really. It's being phrased in a very friendly and accommodating way. It talks about once a year, but of course they are welcoming, and they will be very happy if you do it more often than once a year, and you really should do it more often than once a year. Now, modern awareness training platforms should be tailored to the individual. What that means is, again, meeting them where they are rather than where we expect them to be. So it's not the same training or the same area that each individual needs. They are at different levels in their understanding. So the platform being able to serve the right training to them at the right time is very important. Traditional platforms don't really do that. Micro-learning. That's why we also talk about habits. We like micro-learning, bite-sized learning. It sticks easier. It's easier for the users as well. It's not overwhelming them. They can very quickly get back to their day instead of spending an hour or more with training at a time. Dynamic content, super important. All the platforms and vendors are trying to do that. But imagine if a platform is more technical in terms of its setup of the training, they would need more time, as opposed to if it's short videos, like shorts, like 1, 2, 3 minutes, or text-based, then those can move very fast if something urgent is coming up. And then the platform has to be aware, and that's not just localizing the language. So for it to speak in Latvian, in this case, I think everyone is from Latvia, but also for it to understand the context, at least from which are your domains, what are your tech stacks, or what's your tech stack. So it can serve you with better training according to that. And also for phishing, it's super important for it to be locally relevant. Now, let me see if I can maybe stop this. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. And I will also give you a survey to fill in. And we'll quickly show you. The entire screen window. Let's do this window here. So here we go. What this looks like. So we have two platforms here. The left-hand side, USecure is a video-based, and Nimbler is a text-based training platform. The awareness of it, of your organization, happens with first the employees need to fill in a questionnaire, which I will complete now. This is just randomly filled in, it's a demo. And then for Nimbler, it identifies what type of business you are and what sort of technologies you're also using. So here you can tick all the various technologies. that your environment is using, and identifying the domains and any protection that you have in place. So that's how they identify how your organization is set up and where your users are. This one gives you the spider web, and then of course it will start giving you the training for the ones that are lowest scored, and then moving on with the training as you go. I will give you one example of theirs. Again, it's available in Latvian, so we can switch to that quick. And then the training video will load. You probably won't hear it if I start it. Yeah, it's just muted, apologies. But essentially, the person walks through the training module, and then it gives you the highlights of the teaching, so you can walk away with that. USEC also offers U-breach detection, which means you can enter all your domains, and it will look for leaked credentials on the dark web and on black markets. And then for Nimbler, their true strength comes from the content being so dynamic, because it's all text-based. Just to show you one example. Again, it's available in Latvian, so we can switch to that. It's all delivered to your inbox, or to your user's inbox, and then it walks you through the training, and then you have to answer some questions. But because this is how it works, what this can do is and I want to show you that. What they do is they have 0-day training. So if something happens today, in 24 hours or so, they are aiming to add the new content to the platform. So they are very fast at moving either custom requested content or content that they truly believe is important for that organization. So those are the strengths. So again, one was more video-based, the other one was more was text-based. They both identified, they both do localization, not only by their language, but also the content they deliver. So the phishing exercises also relate to brands that are locally active in Latvia and in the Baltics. And they provide micro training delivered to the user's inbox, and they meet the user where they are by identifying the tech stack, and either doing the questionnaire like USecure does, or Nimbler learns as the user is completing the training. So it learns from the training behavior. And I will quickly add your bonus to the chat. So that should be coming up. I'll open it just so you know it's safe to open. It's again something like a conversation starter, so you have it in English and you also have it in Latvian. So we can look at the Latvian one since everyone is from Latvia. So essentially, we look at the mindset, we look at security at home, and then we look at security at the workplace. So in that order. And the checklist is not to grade the users, but to start conversations and have them think of something perhaps they haven't thought of. And it also gives you very valuable information. I mean, if nothing else, knowing where the policies are and knowing what is expected from the users, every one of your employees should be aware of that. So there are some good tips there, so you are free to use them. I would recommend that you go ahead with giving it to your team leads, and then they can use it in team meetings and make it just very, very easy and low entry for your users. So they not a lot of things are expected of them, and they don't have to worry about any grades. I will show you this slide. It's just quick. You should share it with your teams what you learned. Start conversations. We'll send you a follow-up email. We'll give you everything we can from this. The point was, yes, of course, we wanted to share the training platforms we work with and our services, but the point was for you to take away useful habits that you can start using. And yeah, we urge you to use them, put them to test. You can book a consultation with us. It's free consultation. It's truly a consultation. Whether you work with us or someone else or doing everything in-house, it doesn't matter to us. We want to be useful within the region. We are based here. And yeah, so you tell us about the challenge. We will try everything we can to find you an answer, give you the steps, the roadmap, whatever it is, and then you can decide if you want us to work with you or not. And otherwise, you can, and please follow us on social media. We share a lot of free content. And that's pretty much it. I told you we would be on time, sort of. So I hope this was useful and informative. Sorry for running till 33, but yes, I really appreciate you guys joining, and yeah, just drop us a message if you have questions. We are very happy to help. Have a great day. Paldies. Visu labu.